Kia ora, a fairly active Thursday afternoon in store with a fair number of showers and even some thunderstorms in the mix across parts of Canterbury and up towards these central parts of the country as we head through this afternoon. These fronts run across us, bringing with them enough showery activity to bring some pretty unsettled weather and a southerly change up and across Wellington around about lunchtime, stretching up towards those southern parts of the Northland. We might even find a few showers out towards parts of Hawke's Bay and Gisborne, turning fairly heavy this afternoon, particularly across the places like the Wairoa district and skirting Mahia. But I think it is a fairly active looking afternoon, especially across these central parts of the country. Keep an eye on the Met Service radars. You can find those over on our website. But down that western coast of the Southland, things are improving quite nicely. We'll keep hold of a few showers even in towards the evening through Canterbury. And again, still that risk of one or two sharp ones there, even with some hail to watch out for too. As we go through in towards the night time, we'll find those showers that start to peter out and clear away. Some clearer skies back in there for Auckland and across many parts of the western side of the Northland. Still finding a few showers lingering around that eastern coast. A lot of them will be offshore and just skirt the coast and in towards parts of northern Hawke's Bay. But I think a bit more cloud around those eastern areas through the night time. Down south, some clearer skies, and as the winds have changed around to that southerly, we've also seen the return of some colder temperatures as well. Check out our nighttime lows in places like Queenstown as we head in towards the early hours of Friday morning. Back down to about 2 or 3 degrees Celsius, cold enough perhaps even for a touch of frost in some of those more sheltered spots as we head through the night time. Even on the Northland, it's a little bit cooler. Temperatures in Wellington at 9 degrees Celsius. Auckland, you're looking still at 11 degrees Celsius to start the day on Friday. Now, after the rather thundery activity around on Thursday, Friday is looking like a bit of a quiet day. We'll still find a few showers around the likes of Gisborne, Tairafti to start the day. Then for many of us, it does dry out quite nicely. There'll be more showers that return towards parts of Canterbury, especially those southern areas, and pushing in towards Southland and perhaps Otago by the end of the day. But for the North Island, many spots will find it's a dry day, a cooler feeling day than we've been seeing recently. And there is going to be a bit more cloud that feeds up on these southwesterly winds. So that's going to push in towards parts of, say, Taranaki, Wanganui, and even up in towards Auckland. Might be enough to bring an odd shower, but most of those showers about the very high parts, so perhaps about the top of Mount Taranaki, or perhaps by the end of the day, we could find an odd shower about those western coasts of Northland and down towards the western parts of the Auckland region. But very much an isolated story, more just cloud pushing through on that southwesterly. Not a bad looking day though, up in towards parts of the Bay of Plenty, the Coromandel, and across Nelson and Marlborough. I think a fine looking day for you after a cooler start. Let's look at the North Island now. You can see we've got those early showers around the Wairoa district and Tairafti. They'll clear off. And then for many of us, it's a fine looking day. A bit more cloud pushes back towards those western areas. You can see it pushing through to Taranaki and Waikato as we head through the daytime. And as we go into the evening, we might find an odd shower just forming on that far western coast. But for Auckland City itself, I think perhaps just a touch more cloud towards the end of the day. And we may find a little bit more cloud back around the hills of the Carpeted Coast and then towards Manawatu and Wanganui later on. Now in terms of our temperatures, daytime highs still to around about 19 degrees Celsius in Auckland, 16 in Wellington, and a good higher temperatures out on that eastern coast through there. Now down the south side, many spots starting off fine and dry. A pretty chilly start though for those central parts of Otago. As we head through the morning time, we'll find a touch more cloud bubbling back up across parts of Canterbury. More so though down in the far south, where those showers being pushed in towards parts of Fiordland and Southland. As we go through the afternoon, the cloud will perhaps bring a touch of showery weather in towards parts of Canterbury, but mostly up out the ranges and still very isolated, generally south about Christchurch. I think we'll find more cloud in Christchurch by the end of the day. And you can see a bit more cloud in northern Canterbury as well, just as we head through to the end of the story. But for Marlborough and across in towards Nelson, most of the day fine, dry and sunny. A touch more cloud on that western coast. Might find an odd shower north about Hokitika, but I think very much an isolated affair. In terms of our temperatures, well, it's a chilly start, it has to be said. Daytime highs reaching around about 17 in Queenstown. A little bit cooler for Christchurch, but the warmest temperatures up towards places such as Nelson and Blenheim, which we find highs of 18 or 19 degrees Celsius. Looking ahead then in towards the weekend, where we find high pressure builds back towards us. There it is, just over the Tasman Sea. It keeps us in this southwesterly feed of air through Saturday, which means a bit more cloud around those eastern areas and perhaps a few showers to watch out for as we head towards the end of the day. More likely around those eastern parts of the North Island, so parts of Wairarapa up in towards Hawke's Bay. Still fairly isolated, it has to be said, but generally the further west you are, I think a better day, brighter, and I think staying dry. Looking pretty good, places like the Bay of Plenty again, and I think Nelson looking pretty decent as well. Some clear skies back in the south by the end of Saturday. Sunday, I think we'll start to find another front move closer towards us. So I think although Saturday's a bit of a cooler day, we'll start to find our temperatures a little bit better, a bit warmer anyway, on the South Island during Sunday. Some showers still to watch out for about the ranges of the eastern side of the North Island, and then some wetter weather pushing it back in towards Fjord and perhaps in towards Southland, but that front really weakening as it pushes northwards. That's it from me. As always, you can find the latest forecasts at metservice.com.